I'm going to work out number 8 from the Solving Systems of 3 Equations with Cramer's Rule page. The equations for number 8 are 4x plus 5y equals negative 6, 10x minus 30y plus 50z equals negative 27, and 4x plus 4y plus z equals negative 6. Notice in the first equation of our system there is no z, so when we put it into the matrix we're going to place a 0 instead of the z value there because there's no z. Okay, so I've already set up my 4 matrices. I'm going to use A will be my numerator for x, B will be my numerator for y, C will be my numerator for z, and D will be the denominator for all 3 answers. So let's go ahead and enter our matrices. So we're going to go second. The x with the negative 1 is our matrix options. We're going to go over to edit the first matrix. We do 3, enter, 3, enter, because it's a 3 by 3 matrix. Then we're going to enter the numbers in rows. So we're going to do negative 6, enter, 5, enter, 0, enter, followed by negative 27 for the next row, negative 30, and 50. Then negative 6, 4, and 1 for our third row. If you look at the pattern for my 4 matrices, my D matrix has the coefficient matrix. So we have all of the coefficients on x in the first column, the coefficients from y in the second column, and the coefficients from z in the third column. For my matrix A, the only difference between matrix A and matrix D is that the first column, my x column, does not have the x coefficients, but rather I plugged in the constants, which are the numbers on the right hand side of the equal sign, my negative 6, negative 27, and negative 6. The same pattern is going to be true in my B matrix. Since it's the numerator for y, the coefficients for y are substituted with the constants, which are negative 6, negative 27, and negative 6. In my C matrix, which will be my numerator for my z answer, the third column, which is the z column, was substituted with the constants, negative 6, negative 27, and negative 6. The other 2 columns in each matrix are the same as the ones in matrix D, my coefficient matrix. Okay, now that I have my first matrix entered, I'm going to go to second, x to the negative 1, which is my matrix. I'm going to go back over to edit, and now down to matrix B. 3, enter, 3, enter will give me the spaces for my 3 by 3. Now enter the rows. 4, enter, negative 6, enter, 0, enter, 10, enter, negative 27, enter, 50, enter, 4, enter, negative 6, enter, 1, enter. Again, second, x to the negative 1, which is my matrix menu, over to edit, now down to matrix C. 3, enter, 3, enter will give me a 3 by 3. 4, 5, and negative 6 is my first row. 10, negative 30, and negative 27 is my second row. 4, 4, and negative 6 is my third row. Last matrix, I'm going to go second, x to the negative 1, which is my matrix menu. Back over to the left one to edit, down to matrix D. Again, 3, enter, 3, enter will give me 3 by 3. My first row is 4, 5, and 0. My second row is 10, negative 30, and 50. And my third row is 4, 4, and 1. Now I'm going to do second mode, which is quit in blue. Now I want it to give me the determinant of A divided by the determinant of D for my x value. So I'm going to go second, x to the negative 1, which is my matrix menu, over to math. The first option in the math is determinant, so abbreviated DET. I'm going to hit enter. Again, second, x to the negative 1, which is my matrix menu. Now under the name column, those are the ones that we've saved we're going to select. So I want matrix A. I need to close the parentheses and then divide that by second into the matrix menu, over to math, hit enter for determinant, and then second into the matrix menu, down to D, enter, and then I'm going to hit enter for it to solve. So the determinant of A divided by the determinant of D is 1/2, or 0.5. So my x value is 1/2. Next I'm going to get my y value, so I'm going to do second, x to the negative 1, which is matrix, over to math, hit enter for determinant, second, x to the negative 1, which is matrix, down to B, enter, close the parentheses, divided by second, x to the negative 1, which is my matrix menu, over to math, the determinant, second, matrix, D, enter, and it gives me that my y value is negative 1.6, or negative 8/5 if it was in a fraction. Finally, I'm going to get my z value by doing second, matrix menu, math, the determinant of second, x to the negative 1, which is matrix, C, close the parentheses, divided by second, x to the negative 1, which is my matrix menu, determinant, second, into matrix, and then down to D, and the determinant of C divided by the determinant of D also gives me negative 1.6. So my x value is 0.5, or 1/2 as a fraction. My y and my z value both came out to be negative 1.6, or negative 8/5. Now if you were to plug in these three values into x, y, and z in all three of the equations in your system of equations, they should all come out to be true.